and it will help you to understand what it can do and when you can do it. So now what we're going to do is take that little prana ball that's in our head, and when we can bring it into alignment with the pineal and also the optical complex. It's very connected. All these networks are very connected to the optical complex. So we're going to bring this energy ball that's back here now up through into the pineal, up through the brain, and then push it out forward in the brain where it comes out just halfway. Not even halfway, but you still could see, you can imagine the sphere is right here. Just gently pull it up. And when you've got it into position, just exhale to drop it and leave it in that position. And now we are going to do the first burst of the Kama Sutra, to open the Kama Sutra, the first level of the Kama Sutra lines, all the way through the body. This is every atom will open its line between its crystals, between the connections between the skin, the bone, and the blood crystals. Okay, we're going to pull a deep breath from the Shadi and from your Maharak shield simultaneously, all the way up to the Azray. And hold it there for a moment so the Rosetta code from the Shadi saturates the Siddhama of the Azray. And then continue the breath up into the pineal and send it into the prana sphere, the center of the prana sphere, and pop it. Go. Oh, cool. Felt that one. Try to sense where the energy went or what it's doing. Some people might feel it the first time. Other people, it might take a few times of moving this energy in this way, building it there, moving it back up to the back of the head access point and pulling it up to the pineal, and then bringing the Shadi sparks up or current up and popping the ball. It is there's a secret point in there that we won't get into, we don't have the diagrams yet for it. There's a secret point, however, in the optical complex that allows the access to these keys, to the crystals. And what you've done now is the first, we could do this again, but it's best to do it just once when you first start. But we do suggest when you go home, play with this, do this again, and we don't have it in written form yet, but you can simply, now that you've run it once, your body has a memory of it. You got a memory record of it. You can bring as long as you can remember, just to breathe energy up from the center point in your Shadi up into that area here, and form up in the area above the navel, where you can build a sphere. All right, and then you can move that sphere like a baby with your hand and put it up. And you get to the point where you don't even have to do a little mini-me in your head, where you just put that up. You don't even have to worry about the spark. You just put the ball there and go. Kind of like where you sniff it in, and it pulls it into position. All right? And then you just kind of go. Yeah, but be careful, because if your sinuses are full, you'll make a mess. Right? But you can and pop it. There'll come a time when your body gets so used to building these that they'll actually hatch on their own, and you'll have some extras where you'll just find your body kicks in and it decides that it needs that frequency, and it will actually build it. And you may find floaters coming up where you're actually authorizing it on a different level. You're monitoring your currents and saying, I need more of that, right? So it'll pull it in, and you'll just kind of, oh, one of those again. Prana balls. You'll learn to collect them in your field and hang them like ornaments in a Christmas tree. And you keep them there for storage in case you need them for something. And if you start to get over full, it's like, okay, I got 15 layers in my field here, and they're all looking pretty stuffed. Right? Why don't we give some of it? And this is energy you can use to assist in healing others, in healing trees, in doing all sorts of things. You can use this in making resonant alignment imagery, where you imbue the frequency right into the canvas or the paint if you're a painter. Or you can use it as a musician and bring it right through the strings of your instrument or the piano and make the strings and the metals in the strings sing. You can really do a lot with it. So this is the beginning. We have got to the point where we've got it activated. All right? That is just the first level. Remember, there's lots more levels that will activate with this, and you will feel more the more you play with it, the more you just build that ball. Play with that ball. You know, squish one out and got another one. You can increase the strength of the ball by breathing faster in that little short space. But they're not breaths, they're little breaths, right? I mean, little movements in there. And it's that movement that makes the other stuff phase, that makes the energy build. All right, so you can, like, spawn balls for a while, prana balls, and practice with it, because eventually you'll want to build big ones. You can go bowling for $4 now. But you can do all sorts with them. Oh, dear. All right? Okay. Anyway, we're going to now go into the full field screening. We just made a little prana explosion and opened for a little bit of time the Kama Sutra lines between the crystal levels in our body. Those lines don't just extend into the body and stop at the skin. What they do is go all the way out through all of the layers of the field as well. So right now, as we're sitting here, there's there's millions actually of ripples going out in the fields as the energy that we just opened, that is activating from these keys, is beginning to spread out into your auric levels as well, your aorta clouds. Right? Imagine you are the party key, and what you've just done is inside the party key that you are with the Manangelic layers. And outside, there is the aorta cloud that is a replication of the same keys that are you. Right? So at this point, the lines are reaching out. You're becoming like a starburst yourself. They look, from what I can see right now, and it's not the usual color of prana. It has to build up more. They look just kind of like pale, milky, silvery white right now. But they will pick up color, and they will begin to be like fire opals. And most of the time, they will do the pinky, the kind of like sunset color or sunrise color. I mean, the pinky orange. But sometimes they will actually change color and do bursts. And there are think of like blue fire opals and pink fire opals. They will go through ranges of color, and different ranges are for different purposes. Like, you can really fine-tune this stuff once you get into it. So what we're going to do now is, because those lines are already opening in the fields, this has to do with stuff we learned a little bit about in crystal body anatomy, by the way. I forget what we call the tubes, but this is opening those tubes as well, and I can't remember the name of the tubes. But it is more than those tubes. This level of activation is deeper. Now, I'm going to inhale and pull energy from your field this way into in front of your azare, and then into the azare. And hold it for a minute to see if you can help to get the feeling of it being hotter, like as if it were getting a bit hot. Now we're going to release this energy in a minute after we first take it down to the Shadi. When we bring it back up, we're going to bring it back up to the azare and then out and spread it completely outward through the field, as if there's this huge, like, egg-shaped fields around you, and it's going to go all the way out to where you lose track of it. So we're going to go up and all the way around in every direction. Try to see if you can hear an inner crackle, because there's actually a type sound. So like as this energy is moving with the prana that you had sent before. Now, inhale the energy back from the spheres. more slowly. And at each level of the fields, each of your 15 layers of the field this is passing through, this energy now passing through, it is leaving an imprint, crystal gel encryption, surface encryption of the natural Edonic Rosetta code. Now let the breath come back in to the center of the Azure. Send it down to earth, the core this time. One more time up to the Azure. And then one more burst. And on that burst, the Rosetta code encryptions that you set turned into million phases, ionized replicas on each, making a layer of natural prana on each layer of the auric field, going all the way down into yourself. This layer of prana carrying the Rosetta code of the Edonic Rosetta will give you very, very strong protection field. You'll now have the ability to be able to link chakras with someone. And when you do, each layer of your chakras will now have what looks like a little, it looks like a screen. Not a screen door. Think of a screen door without the wood, or the metal. It's just a screening. That screening is a charged field. It's a charged prana field that will allow anything that is of a Christic nature that you want to flow in and out to do that. But it will not allow anything to come in to your field on that level. Since we were able to use these prana lines, as they, at the Kama Sutra lines, as they expand out into the field all the way out to the Ra, which is the outermost outer layer of the field, we have the field sealed, the 15-dimensional layers of the field actually sealed. The more we work with these prana breathing techniques, and the more we do those bursts of breath like that with the prana bowls, we will be able to continually strengthen our ability to protect our fields. It will help transmute anything that's, the things that are not in their proper fire letter sequences that are in your own field, but it will also transmute anything coming at you from anyone else's field. It means you can link chakras. Now, the easiest way to do that is front to front, because everybody's got those basically turned on. So you can link chakras for various reasons. You can link chakras with a tree, and trees like it, and they do talk, and they speak any language, which is cool. And it might just scare the bejesus out of you when the first time you hear it and it goes, "Excuse me," you, "Huh? Over here. What? Where are you?" "I am the thing you call a tree." And they can be really snotty because they're really sick of humans at this point, and that is us doing stuff and not recognizing the fact that they're beings. And some of them won't even talk to you. But if you're running prana, trees love prana. And it's like touching a soft spot in their heart. I was like, well, all right, maybe I'll talk to you. Right? If you're nice. It's a trust thing. The trees have lost a lot of trust in the people who were entrusted with being the stewards of this planet. And some of them just gave up completely, but others are still open to communion. So you can use this for that, but you can also use it when making love. You can do something that we're going to go out on as we're moving ourselves out of this building. We are going to do the two other parts of this exercise and receive finally the Shalan infusions that are going to come through the shields. But the palms are very much a part of the, let's say, Kama Sutra network. Touch is very special. We've already activated, in other workshops, we've activated the glory hands, and these have to do with the currents being run from the Shadi and the Shadi's Rishite connections. Now, we're going to be able to increase that, where we can begin to sensitize the Nira networks by projecting energy from the Shadi, and from which is now carrying the activated prana, by the way. Most prana has been shut down, except for very small trickles of reversed prana that form what our science here identified as the jewel energy that is considered the jewel energy. This is bringing back whole jewels back into the picture, and they're activated now. And as long as you play with the breathing, here and there, like actually play with the prana balls and that kind of stuff, it will stay on. If you leave it for a month and don't do anything more with it except your usual breathing patterns and things, it will just go back to dormancy again. So you've got prana turned on. It gives you the ability to sensitize your surface level crystals, which are your skin crystals. They're the Ka crystals. So you can sensitize your own touch, and you can learn to sensitize the skin of others, where just by gentle stroking, and you can play with feeling a difference too, where you bring some prana up, just bring it directly up from the Siddhanam, from the Shadi into the Azare, project it down one hand that's petting the other arm. And then pet the other arm and see if you can feel it. See if you can get enough prana going where it makes your hair stand up when you run your fingers over it. You'll know you're getting a decent amount when you can get that. And you can play with this enough. You will get to the point where you'll be able to look at your arm. And unless your arms are completely bald, you will be able to notice the skin response where the hairs will actually go in relation to the amount of prana that you are transmitting through the hands. All right, so it'll take a bit of time to get the hands actually moving to carry that current, but by simply breathing prana directly from the now activated opal jewels that are in your private parts, in Shadi, you will be able to move them where you'd like them in the body, and you can sensitize skin. This also can be very comforting for children, or if you have babies or anything like that. When you bring your prana flow up, it's very nurturing. Nurturing for the field. So you will find, unless you're dealing with let's say children of a questionable nature that occasionally do show up, they might react to that, particularly on azurite frequency of right? Because it's just too much frequency. So if you're handling babies and they're spazzing out, don't immediately assume they're dark avatars incarnating, but could be. But don't immediately assume that. It might just be you've got too much frequency running for their little fields, and they're feeling a bit fried in your presence. And animals can do that too. So you can learn to use the breath, pull it in, slow the breath, and really go half-speed breath. And it takes the prana into a different level, where you can go into alpha state with it, and it creates a calm that's really like eternal feeling. It's like where time stands still feeling. So you can do a lot with the prana now that it's activated. We're going to go out there where we're going to sit down, so we can sit down in to finish the final phase of this, at the end of which hopefully won't be too long, we can finish. We will be getting the Shailan, the infusion from the beloveds. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to take the mic out there. Okay. So we're going to begin we're going to learn a little bit about chakra linking. And this is a technique you can take back. We're going to do this in sets of 3 people. So it doesn't feel weird, where you feel like, oh, hi stranger. It's just you and me now. No. We're going to do it in sets of 3 in order to set the grid that will be strong enough to bring through a significant amount of the Shailan flows that are coming in. Because in a group of 3 people, you can bring in a lot more than one individual can bring in by themselves. So we're going to go out there, sit there in groups of 3. Pick any 3 people is fine. It would be better if there is one of the other sex, all right? Like you can have 2 women and a male, or 2 males and a woman, whatever. But it will work better if you have the, mixing. It just doesn't matter which one's the dominant. If we weren't able to fortify personal fields, or give you techniques to fortify your personal fields enough where it was safe to even try. So we were talking Mahara Seal, we like all sorts of things in order to fortify your field, and told don't link with group shields, that kind of stuff. Well, we're moving into a zone of energy now where we're working with the Kama Sutras directly. We will be able to provide enough protection for ourselves in the field, as long as we're doing technique. If you say, oh, I did the Kama Sutra activation a year and a half ago, and then just forgot about it all, you're not going to keep your field fortified. But right now, you have enough, plus you have the extra support of the shield itself being fortified in this way. And that will last, like they said, about 3 days after you leave here, and then it will drop down a bit. And then about 4 or 5 days after that, it will pick back up again as your own currents start getting stronger, and it will amplify what you had already set in the field as far as your prana buffer. Okay, so you have an Elan buffer in your fields now. That Elan is kind of like Teflon. Yeah, Teflon. Just slide right off if it doesn't belong there. And there are other techniques that we will use as we go along. The stronger the currents get, the more we will be able to bring them in to assist in strengthening those barriers as well, to deal with the currents that are coming in on the other side as far as threshold goes. What if there's only 2? You said we got 4. You can have 2. If you can do 2, are you know each other? Oh, okay. If there's anybody that's like a married couple or something that has another person with them that wouldn't mind surrendering the other person to this group these 2 people who don't know each other at all, because it gets a little weird when it's just one-on-one. Okay, I got nobody else. All right, thank you. Because what it does is when you're getting to know strangers this way, it's a strange feeling when your fields start to actually engage with each other, because we're used to all, people in this world just kind of like hold their fields tight and they don't let other people into their space, and you're going to be asked to let people into your space now, knowing that you're safe to do it, right? So when it comes to, if there's only 2, it's weirder. It's just you and the other. And the other. Not to mention the harmonics are completely different. If you're a couple who has been together, particularly male-female couple, actually it doesn't have to be male-female, but if you've had an engagement, if you're sexual partners, okay, if you're sexual partners, whether or not you're male or female, there's a field rapport already that is quite strong. So it's not a weirdo, this feels strange thing. It's like, oh, interesting, didn't know we could do that. So that's why I asked if somebody wouldn't mind, letting the other people that didn't know each other at all not have to go, hi, let's puff breath together. It's really strange. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to do is try to sit comfortably, but we're going to at some point need to be able to touch hands in a 3 configuration. And before you have, this is going to be something you do later, you don't have to do it yet. And there's a particular posture of the touching of the hands that allows certain circuits to open. If you're using different posture, they won't open. All right, there's one particular gesture that allows a linking circuit to form between 2 people running Christic frequency. It's a prana circuit, and it's this posture. Right, they don't have to be up over your head. But when you're touching the other person's hand, if, for instance, I wish I were an octopus right now. Thank you. I was going to use us as a demonstration, but my teeth. Could I? Okay, I'll just scream. I have a mouth. After you energize your hands with the balls, right, with the energy balls, you can make another ball quick, deliver it into your palms, just then bring it up into your palms, and just go. And actually top sleeve and energize the hands this way. Right? And you might feel warmth actually coming up the arms this way. At some point you will when you play the game. Right now, the posture, if you want to form a linking circuit with another person, is this posture. It's also a posture, if you didn't know you were playing with Kundalini, it's just like, not a defensive posture, right? It's an open, a loving posture. It's a, I'm open to knowing you posture. It's also a very powerful posture, particularly when the hands are brought together in relation to certain angles in front of the Azare with couples. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be sexual, but if you apply it when you're, engaging in sexuality, it can very much strengthen. Come here, Where you have the two people. Keep the hands about. Oh yeah, right. You have to go and adjust for whose arms are longer and shorter. Right. Yeah. Okay. And this would be the beginning. You could do it sitting down, right? What I'm going to have you do in a minute is do a chakra engagement, okay? A chakra engagement is you get your hands activated, do a little pop of prana ball to get them stimulated. Then the other person should do that too. You do that, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. Anyway. Inhale a stream of prana up from the Shadi, up into the Asare. And then one person hold the breath while the other person bursts that down their palms and into the other person's palms. Okay, and then the other one that just let go of the breath, inhale quick and let the other person exhale. Doing the same thing. Now, height will have an influence on the angles that the chakras will try to reach each other, because they'll actually modulate and try to shift up and down the angle of their cone. They won't move up and down, but chakras stay at their seals, but the cones will tilt, like the front will go down to reach the front of the other person's, and the back will go up, so they'll start moving on their axis to find modulations. And what you're going to do next is make a heart-to-heart link, which is, it's an astral field link, and you put the intention out of what you want it for. If you were with someone who's a stranger and you don't know that person's from Adam and you're doing an energy work at a workshop, you say, well, this is just for this period of time now, and it will, and there's no other connection that I will allow to remain. And your intention will go right into the prana field barriers that you have set, your screening. And you can put any intention that you want in there that is of the Christ, to not cause harm, and you can't harm anyone with that field. But you can also prevent anyone from doing any harm to you in that way with the intention. So if you would like to link with someone to begin to learn how to do this, all right, you can do it and then say, oh, thank you, it was nice to, to learn how to do that with you, and that's it, bye. And you're not field linked, you're not field connected, even if they have field problems, which is nice. Even if there's stuff hanging out in their field and you can see it, you're going, oh my God, I'm trying to go over there, oh my God. Remember, they probably don't know that's there either. And you can make a choice that will help both, where you'll be fine and they'll be better too than they were if you hadn't made that choice. Right? So you don't have to be afraid of anything invading your fields. That won't be allowed to happen here. You might still have what you came in with if you have company, but this field will also start to really annoy that company. So it may decide it wants to find another shell. Right? So now what we're going to do is, you guys are sitting down, it's easier, but what we're going to have, with all of these triangles, there should be a pair, not necessarily know each other, of opposite gender, okay, which means you carry a different set of keys and key combinations. This exercise is going to be done so we can create a triplicate unit, each group of 3. And if you're husband and wife or you've been together for a while sexually, you will be able to do it with less persons and generate the same ability. But we're going to create an anchoring ground for the Shalan transmission that is coming through. And the Shalan transmission is the receiving of the Adore Aurora crystal codes, the beginning of fusion of that, for the males and the females. So we'll all begin to have the ability to carry codes like the blue dragons. All right, so the boys can get the ones they need to, and the girls can get theirs. So it's now not just carrying the Aquari codes that were carried by some of the females here, but those codes will be given to the Indigo Shield, so we can begin carrying them together. And those codes are the ones that will allow us to have enough currents to complete tachyon cycles and to override the first of 4 intersections between our crystal spiral axis and the 666 sextant axis. Okay, so that's what this is about. knows. Okay. The two persons of, just two of you in each group of three that have opposite gender, it doesn't matter which ones you are going to be these are called, these by the way are called syncopated groups, clusters, syncopated clusters. It has to do with how keys phase. Syncopated clusters of three can bring in usually more frequency, depending on who's in them, of course, but can bring in more frequency in the configuration than just two people alone, unless they happen to have a strong, sexual energy bond that they already have, and those kinds of things. But it involves breathing, and it involves first the two people that are chosen as the, what do they call them? There's a name for the main couple. The other one, that's the one that doesn't do that, right? Right. The person that doesn't form that is called the catalyst. All right. Somebody remember these words, because I'll forget them because I'm so tired. Not by morning, but by next time. All right. So the catalyst is the person who's going to, say, stand alone while being a part of the group, and then there's going to be the coupling, and that's a different name. Okay, they said, never mind, you'll have to see the spelling. Okay, so let's just say the couple and the catalyst. All right, should have a catalyst and a couple. The couple should ideally, when you're first starting to work with these energies, be in male and female bodies. Okay, like, where you get both polarities represented. What you need to do first is, everybody, bring your breathing to about half. Slow it down gently. You need a method? You got over me.
That one. Very good.
Very good. Yeah, you kind of need a male in there. Doesn't matter which one. Is there an extra male floating around anywhere?
Right here.
They need a male over here. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous on this planet as far as certain cultures where there's an awful lot of female overflow. Where is it?
There's one right here.
This one.
Here's one.
Really? Trees really. Alright. Are we settled now? Does everybody have basically two genders represented in their set of three people? Yes. Cool. Okay. Good. Now, the two opposite gender who are going to be the couple here, alright, they're going to start the activity first. And the first part of the activity is, let's try this again. Let's slow our breathing, everybody, to about half speed. This helps to engage the elemental levels where the mind slows down and actually expands into the D2 elemental bass pulse rhythm a bit more. Now, I'll call you the action couple, okay? The action couple, first, looks in each other's eyes. And sits as close as you can comfortably stay, where you can actually really look in each other's eyes. As you're looking in each other's eyes, begin to breathe at each of your own natural rhythm. the way, if you have glasses on, take them off for this. Or you'll burn your eyeballs. Contact lenses won't do quite the same. There's enough white space around the eye to breathe. Because it's actually the whites that do more of the activation than the color parts. Okay. Now, even if you can't see each other's eyeballs now because it's all fussy, we're not trying here to see with the eyes. We're trying to see with the soul and deeper parts. What is important is to understand you have currents that run in and out of your eyes all the time. To begin to get to know someone, it's actually quite expected in some cultures, where you would grasp hands for a moment and hold that moment and look deeply in each other's eyes and breathe several syncopated breaths first, which are breathing at your own rhythm. You're not on any beaten rhythm together. You're not moving them together. Then you're going to take it from syncopated breathing into synchronized breathing. Now this can be used for many different things, but it also can be used in the bedroom, and it can very much enhance what both people feel, because you are making a link with more than just the base chakras. You're being in the process of linking as beings, as eternal beings, not just bodies of flesh and personas. So as you're looking at each other's eyes, one of the harder things to do is not blink, because you will begin to feel the energy of the other person's currents hitting your eyes, and after a while they start to burn. And if you can hold it for as long as possible, when you do this in a dark room, you'll actually start, if you can really hold it and let your eyes tear, but still hold it, you can see the flash off points, where you can actually watch people flash, or parts of people flash off and on with the party path phasing, which is really neat. And then you'll see incarnational faces come through and those kind of things. Alright, so there's that. But we're not going to do that. We don't need to do that through this exercise. What we want to do is link the chakras. And this is something you can take home with you to practice with yourself, to practice with trees, to practice with your loved ones. You can do it with children too as a nurturing thing. So this is, you're linking the eye currents first. Begin to slow the breathing and become aware of the sound of each other's breathing in the action couple. Don't worry, the catalyst person will have other stuff to do in a little bit. Become aware of the sound of the other person's breathing. We're going to try to get each other, get yourselves together, breathing on a spiraling breath. A spiraling rhythm. Now, spiraling breath is interesting. For your own part in a spiraling breath, you would draw prana up. Send it up at the top of your head. You can bring it back down to the azure, to the heart. It's actually the azure. Back down to the heart. And then, you would ever so slowly, one person would exhale that breath toward the heart chakra of the other. And when you're done with the exhale, the other person would inhale. And receive that breath, but not in the mouth, in the heart chakra. You're linking eye to eye, heart to heart, mind to mind, soul to soul. And later, as long as body to body. Once you establish a linking line, which is the line that comes up from the Umshadi center, goes all the way up, and then comes back down. You can weave it through, if you want to see eye to eye. You can bring it down over to the pineal and send down the breath over to the other person's chakra. And you don't do this to people unless they have, given you permission, unless they, you don't do this secretly to people who try to mess with them, or you will get it back. Your own field will teach you a lesson, if you try to misuse energy that way. Alright, so you don't inflict it on one, but if someone's agreeing to share space with you in this way, you can do it with a lover. They're agreeing to share space with you. You can breathe your way, and if your way happens to be a way that does link, but you can't push energy at people. So, start seeing eye to eye, where first, one person take turn as a breather, where the other one just breathes normal, doesn't worry about it, and the other person goes, breathe out the sixth chakra, and then they bring it out to the other person's sixth chakra, and then they imagine that that breath has made a line of energy that comes through the other person's sixth chakra, back out their fifth chakra, and back to their own fifth chakra, where you weave the chakras together, and you weave 6 to 6, and then bring back 2, and then bring 5 to 5, and then 4 to 4, and 3 to 3, and 2 to 2, and 1 to 1, and then make a loop. You can even make heart shape if you want to. You can play with the energy and bring it down. Now, what we're going to try to do is get a version of this. This takes practice to do these things, where you actually, even to loop them through your own chakras, takes a bit of practice, where you synchronize breath and that. So what we'll start doing is just realizing that there's a technique where you simply breathe in, send it up, and you're breathing in prana from the Shuddhi. Send it up, then bring it back down, and imagine looping through your own chakras, first going, through 7, it goes this way, and then 6, and then 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. You can play with that at home too, and it will also help clear your chakras faster, as far as any distortions. But what we're going to try to do now, I want you to experience before we go, and we need to experience enough of this to bring in the currents, is when one person exhales, in the active couple, when one person exhales, the other inhales, as if they're breathing in the exhale of the other person. Now, just so you know, if you're engaging in this at home or whatever, it is ideal to A, be cleanly showered, smell nice, be clean, don't have onions that day, don't eat garlic that day, because you'll stink, alright? And if a person's trying to sensitize to you, and you're like, Mr. Garlic Breath, right? You're not going to want to be over to your prana. So, part of the Kama Sutra teachings have always been about preparing for the sacred rites and rituals of being together. Be clean, be nice to touch, and expect that of the other person as well. And if they're not quite doing that, gently say, honey, would you please? Would you mind? And if they say yes, like, excuse me, I find that unpleasant, that kind of thing, and take it from there. Yeah, that's the next class. Yeah, but not in a 3. Oh, yeah, that way, at home is fine. Yeah, we'll actually probably do that in some of the 12 tribe stuff, because it does link in certain ways, but with 3 people it's a bit difficult. You get a twister board, a twister. Okay, right? Yeah, as I was just saying, that when you do that, when you get into these exercises as couples, you can actually link your legs over each other. Right? You're sitting on the floor like that or on the bed. Yeah, one links over the other legs, over the other thighs of the other. So you can do that if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It makes it a little bit awkward when you're working in groups of 3. It's all over the place. You imagine what if you did that all those people and all those legs and arms? Anyway, all right, let's get on with this though, because we need to get. It's coming in. I can feel the heat coming in. All right, yeah, there we go. Wait, you feel it? In the back. You just hold it for 2 seconds. Okay. Now, what we're going to try to do in this configuration is the action couple is going to slow the breath down again, and at whatever rhythm is the natural rhythm, and make the eye loop again, the eye contact again. Just breathe gently. And now you're going to breathe slowly so you can start keeping track of each other, okay? Where pick whoever is going to exhale first. And the person who's going to exhale first, that means the other person is going to inhale when they exhale at the same rate and speed. And this takes a while to actually get a really good link going with someone this way. First, just breathe the energy back and forth between the upper chakras. We can feel it's almost like a seesaw rhythm. It's very gentle. With each breath, there'll be bursts of fear bits that come up from the BB program. And when they come up, both sides of the breathing active party simply say, I will send it. I transmit this now. I transmit this now. Let the layers come out and go up. Let the breath is going this way, and then the clean energy is going this way. And let the stuff that feels scary and funny go out, and that goes up. It takes a 90-degree turn when it gets in between the two of you, and it won't touch the other person, and it gets out of view. All right, so any of the fear energy, the jittery energy, the people near me energy, oh, did I have garlic type energy, all those kind of thoughts that will get in the way of the rhythm. All right, you just let the currents go, pay attention to the breathing, try to synchronize. Right? And any of the dirty stuff goes up. It floats up and will be transmuted by your fields, and also with the help of the beloveds, because they're with us and monitoring this exercise at all angles. Okay? Okay. Now, once you establish enough of a back and forth movement where you've got the inhale, exhale down pretty decently, try to move it down together, down the bodies, where you like seesaw it, where you're up here, like where the breath is coming in around the mouth area in the fifth chakra, and you start to, it goes out of one into the other, then arcs down and goes in and comes in the lower chakra set. It doesn't matter what chakras right now, don't worry about aim, just point it down. So what we're trying to do is anchor this lovely wave pattern of energy, this lovely Siur and Siddha combination pillar. And it will go down into the earth, into the earth of core, and let it lay there once it goes. Once you've made that, you've managed to move this wave down. Let it sit. And then keep trying, though, to forget, don't worry about moving energy, just breathe. Just keep the syncopation, the synchronization in the breathing going. The next thing is where the third person comes in. Okay? While the action couple is doing, and I only call them action because they started first. Okay, so you will be doing action 2 as number three person. Alright, they have created a wave between them together. It is an anchoring wave that can be used to anchor all sorts of frequency in very positive ways, because you have the Christic seals on your fields. They will be Christic energy only that will be able to run. Now, the third person. What the third person needs to do is you're sitting at a different angle to the other two people. So you're forming a triangulation. You're forming a phase set, right? As if it were one of the little arms of a ruche where you have the one and then the two sticking out, and they phase together like this so they can spark, right? So eventually we will be doing rounds where we put groups, where we make ruche configurations, spark sets, and the people make the sparks, and it's going to be really cool. But for now, we're learning how to do a triad configuration. And in the triad configuration, the third person is going to represent the Manu, and the gender couple will represent the Mane and the Ire, right? So the Manu person, that is the one that would be the androgynous, right? So you'll be running the androgynous currents. And this person, while these people, the other two people are breathing and keeping that flow, and as soon as you break the breath, the wave kind of goes, blip, blip, you lose the wave that you were forming. And it's a specialized kind of seer pillar that you form with prana. So try to keep, the gentle breathing together going. You can pick up your wave if it fell flat, but it will fall flat. If you stop the breathing, it'll go, and it'll be gone. Down in earth core, so then you have to relink. You can also just go and try to catch the end of it, and it'll come back up where you can catch it and bring it back where you want it, because you want to hold on to it even though you send it down to earth, where you don't want to lose the line. Because what you're going to do is link now together to bring through these currents that one person's body alone would not be able to receive enough of the Shalan infusions that are coming, the Shalan crystal infusions that are coming from the Atare side, which are the opalized fire crystals. Right? Now, the third person in the group, while the other two have rediscovered their seer wave, it's more like a seesaw wave. Seer is go vertical, this One goes like this. Right. The third person is going to observe the breathing synchronization. That is with the other two. And attempt. At first, this takes practice, by the way. So with this, we'll just do it. We'll let you go with your own rhythm, but a full synchronized breath set, and then a syncopated breath set. Together form a very powerful combination. The syncopated breath would be where you watch their inhale, outhale flow, and you see the middle point. And that's where you start yours. Right? And you breathe normally, but you make sure it's when they're doing their inhale, outhale, that middle point where they're actually, one's going this way, one's going that way, is right about there, that your exhale will come out then. Right? And you're actually linking the seers of light and sound. And you will create a very, very powerful phase set for that. It does take practice, so if you're going, huh? Right? Wow, this is confusing. Don't worry about it. It takes practice to do this. It takes practice to learn to run the prana energies and the kundalini energies consciously. Practice by yourself. Where you learn to do things with your body and your consciousness before you worry about combining them. But you're doing good tonight. The shield is actually holding up pretty well, even though you're as tired as you are. It's actually like you woke up again because it's already morning. So now we're going to get ready for, the infusion is starting. I felt a bubbling in the shield. Yeah, it's coming. Get hot in certain places. Now, if you can't get the syncopation down, that's okay. But just let it be your own rhythm. But realize you are forming a zigzag wave running through your body too. It's a smaller one. It's like the width of your body, but going frontwards to backwards. While the couple are forming a larger one that's going this way between them, as well as small little ones that go zigzagging through the body. Now there's going to be two bursts of energy that are going to be given. These are actually going to come in from above, they're saying. So they're going to come in from the, if you look at the indigo shield, it's not just a flat dish, but it's a flat dish that's inside of a large sphere. All right. So they're going to be sending infusions of the keys, of the aurora keys, down through imagine it as a Talia sphere, a massive Talia sphere, and everybody's connected to it that's inside of it. So the keys are going to first come down, and they're going to download through your natural breathing as you're breathing here, and you'll be able to bring in more of them because of the configurations you're sitting in, right? And breathing in. And breathing is the key to the sitting. That's why you're sitting there, so you breathe together. Right? So there will be like little showers of opals. Imagine really pretty little sparkly opals, if you've ever seen opal. It's like fire opals. Some of them are a bit white with light pastel colors. Others are very intense and just like all the real opal shiny, like frozen fire. All right, they're going to be coming down and kind of like rain, but they're lighter than rain, so they almost fall like snow, but they don't look like snow. So if you get a chance to see any of these while you're breathing, all right, if you breathe and relax into the breathing space, you'd actually begin to see these, and you might see them first as little orbs of light coming down, just little circles or little balls of energy floating around in the air. These are the beginnings of the keys coming. They will first collect around the group of three. They will form an Oerth cloud around each group of three persons. All right? And they're intelligent. The keys themselves are intelligent. They will seek out those with encryption most similar to their own. So that means you will get keys that are compatible with your own encryption. Because there's lots of keys when it comes to the Shalon and Alon ones from over the other side. And not any one body can hold them all, but there are similarities with some as opposed to others. So we're going to breathe now, and there's going to be a point of stop breath that's going to allow something to happen. As you sing, if you get your breathing back again, do this the synchronized breathing with the couple and the syncopated breathing with the third person. Just get it going for a few rounds. I don't know. I don't think they're taking them that this time. That's for us all. You're getting cliff notes. You're getting it before I do. All right, now, what we're going to do they're telling me, as the infusion has already started, they're actually holding it back a little bit for the last like 2 or 3 minutes. It's kind of funny. It looks like milky bubbles. They look like milky colored bubbles with little flashes of light. They're bigger than I thought they'd be, actually. They're like bigger than a ping pong ball, but not as big as an orange kind of thing. Neat. And they're coming down. They're almost like gently bouncing. Some of them are going on the floor, and that's all right. They'll absorb in other ways. Some of them are going through the floor and forming a sphere around the couple. So there's a sphere of the keys forming around it. These are the keys in Orta form. All right. So these are the ionized keys, and what they will do is gel once you're able to pull them in through the shields. Ah, that's very tricky. Okay, somebody else, if you do the hands. We're getting to the hands. Yeah, that was good. Yes, once you've got a couple phases of the breath going properly, first the phase couple put their palms together comfortably in this position, but not up. It doesn't have to be raised. Right? Okay, continue the breathing. Once you have a couple of cycles done, opening and thinking of the arm currents. Remember now when you exhale, you're exhaling from 3 points, all right? From your breath that comes out your mouth and nose area, and also from your palms now. So you're doing the same thing, but the energy is still coming, that you're exhaling and inhaling from the 3 points. So you still stay synchronized. Now the third person is going to come online with the shield that you are creating, and one hand, the hand closest to the third person of each of the phase couple, one, right, each link, the palm to palm. See if you can feel the energy buzzing between your palms. Sometimes you will, sometimes it takes some practice to do that. Okay. Now, remember to keep your breathing. The phase couple is still breathing in synchronization. And the third person is the syncopation. Try to feel what the currents are doing as they're moving through your hands and your body. Now in a moment, I'll tell you what we're going to do before we do it. We're going to really quickly breathe. The three of you will take an inhale breath all at the same time and hold it way up above your head at a center point between the three of you. So. And then hold. And now a sharp exhale down through the center of your triangle all the way down to earth core. Breath up, and as if the breath is bringing up a little ball of energy right in the middle of you, right in the middle of your triad. Okay? And then everyone just keep the hands there, but you can go into your own breathing rhythms now, where the syncopation and the synchronization will still stay in the waves that you set, as long as you keep the hands in close proximity. Now for those of you who would like to receive the infusion of the Shaylon keys that are coming in from the Adore side, the Shaylon Aurora Fire Letter keys, they are getting ready to flash. Okay, they're reaching a flash point in whatever cycle they have them on, and they're going to become available to inhale from under where you're sitting. Okay? So it's like they're laying on the Group Maharic shield. And from there, if you want to bring them in, go. And bring them up right into the Shuddhi. Take several breaths. So you're fully loaded. Increase the breathing rate. And one final big, all the way at the top of your head. And then, Up. Yeah. And now you can put your hands down on your palms down on your legs or whatever you want to do. And relax. And breathe gently and easily. You just actually worked very hard. Right? Right. Whoa, check this out. I haven't felt that stuff in a while. You know, because the body knows this stuff. It's, you know, the body is quite aware of the fact that prana exists much more than we are. But we don't very often run a raw prana, and because it's usually not available. If we hadn't been doing all the work we have been doing for the last 5 and 6 years, we wouldn't be able to access the raw prana. But we're doing it now. And you have that to take home with you when you go. You will have the prana with you, and you will now have the amount of keys you were able to draw in. That will be not only times 3 what each one of you would have been able to do alone, but that goes into an exponential factor. I don't know what those numbers are, but yes, but this is a very powerful activation. These keys will begin doing activation cycles with you at different times. Some won't activate until 2047. Others will activate now. Others will activate 6 months from now. They're all keyed to the grids, to the Eartha grids. So this is one thing that these keys will give you, is a direct link now to the Eartha grids, not just the Earth grids. So you can begin the process of projecting there and beginning the process of transferring your consciousness there, because that's the crystal spiral way to get out of here once this place is going to fall when we go to Starfire. So this is the first link. So we have a direct link now in our bodies, in our matter, that links us directly into Eartha. And the one gate left that we want to get through. The only gate left that is the Arc 7 gate, which is a form of Spanner 7. And that has several networks that are closely related to each other, not too far away from each other. And there will be other networks called the Polarian gates that will be put online with that one gate to its capacity. You can't overload the one Spanner gate, or you crash the gate and damage it, and then nobody gets anywhere. But there will be a series of smaller networks that will link into the Spanner gate of Arc 7. So there's other places on the planet, in Europe and in other countries, that will be able to link in to that also. And that has to do with the Peru trip and this, what do they call it, gyrodome? Yeah, whatever the gyrodome technology is, that the Aquari races put here a very long time ago, and they were the Aquari Aurora races from Eartha that had come here to assist with the bioregenesis of this planet. There was something put in here to assist in that process that's never been opened or activated, and now's the time to use it, is what they're saying. Now's the time to fortify the crystal spiral enough where it won't break when it gets hit with the threshold spiral of the 4 different intersections. So, gracious me, I think we finished. Did we finish? I think we did.